Are you craving for an epic adventure but short on time? Imagine immersing yourself in breathtaking worlds, heart-pounding action, and unforgettable stories, all in the span of a single day. From pulse-racing shooters to mind-bending narratives, I've curated a list of great linear games that deliver incredible experiences without demanding weeks of your life. Without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have the 2016 Doom. This game takes everything you loved about classic Doom and takes it to the next level. You're the Doom Slayer, a one-man army ripping and tearing through demon hordes on Mars. The story's simple but effective. Demons are bad, but you are even badder. The combat is insanely satisfying. Every gun feels like it packs a punch, and the glory kills is really great. The pacing is relentless, pushing you forward through gorgeously detailed environments. And let's not forget the soundtrack. It's like being punched in the face by heavy metal in the best way possible. Doom proves that sometimes the old school approach of shoot everything that moves still works wonders when done right. In average, you need around 12 hours to beat the game, leaving you plenty of time to catch your breath and wonder what the hell just happened. The level design is top-notch, offering a perfect balance between claustrophobic corridors and open arenas that'll test your skills to the max. Each new weapon you unlock feels like Christmas came early, and figuring out the best loadout for each situation is a game in itself. And can we talk about the boss fights? They're epic showdowns that'll have you on the edge of your seat, frantically dodging and unloading everything you've got. Up next, we have the 2013 Tomb Raider. This is the origin story that breathed new life into Lara Croft, and man, does it deliver. You're thrown into a brutal survival situation on a mysterious island, watching Lara transform from a scared archaeologist to a hardened survivor. The narrative hooks you from the get-go with intense set pieces and genuinely emotional moments. What really stands out is how visceral everything feels. Lara's pain, fear, and determination are manifested. The gameplay strikes a perfect balance between exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. And can we talk about those tombs? They're like little puzzle boxes that'll make your brain work overtime. Visually, it's a stunner, with environments that range from claustrophobic caves to vertigo-inducing cliff faces. You are looking at about 12 to 15 hours to wrap the main story alone, and trust me, you'll be itching for more by the end. The character development is top-notch, with Lara's journey feeling organic and believable. Each new skill and weapon upgrade feels earned, making you feel like you're growing alongside her. The supporting cast is well written too, adding depth to the island's mysteries. And let's not forget the collectibles. They're not just filler, but actually add to the lore and backstory of the island. Of course, collecting all of them will further increase your overall playthrough. Next on our list is BioShock Infinite. You play as Booker DeWitt, sent to the flying city of Columbia to rescue a mysterious girl named Elizabeth. What follows is a story that'll have you questioning reality itself. The narrative is layered with themes of racism, religious fanaticism, and alternate realities, all wrapped up in a gorgeous steampunk aesthetic. Columbia is a character in itself, a utopia with a rotten core that you'll love exploring. The gameplay's a blast, mixing traditional FPS elements with supernatural powers called Vigors. Elizabeth isn't just a damsel in distress either, she's a game changer in combat, tossing you supplies and opening tiers in reality. And the ending? Let's just say it'll have you talking for days. You can finish the main campaign only in about 12 hours, but you'll be thinking about it long after the credits roll. The attention to detail in Columbia is insane. From the propaganda posters to the barbershop quartet singing anachronistic pop songs. Each vigor feels unique and satisfying to use, and combining them with your weapons leads to some truly creative combat scenarios. The skylines add a whole new dimension to firefights, letting you zip around the battlefield like a deadly roller coaster. The audio is also worth mentioning. From the haunting rendition of Will the Circle Be Unbroken to the unsettling whispers of the Siphon, it's a feast for the ears. BioShock Infinite isn't just a game, it's an experience that'll stick with you long after you've finished it. Batman Arkham Asylum is up next, and holy smokes, what a game! This is the Batman experience we've all been dreaming of. You're trapped in Arkham Asylum with the worst of Gotham's criminals, and it's up to you to stop the Joker's diabolical plan. The story's dark, gritty, and peppered with appearances from Batman's infamous rogues gallery. What really sets this apart is the combat. The free flow system makes you feel like a total badass, effortlessly taking down groups of thugs. And when you're not punching faces, you're using detective mode to solve puzzles and track down clues. The voice acting is top-notch, with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their iconic roles as Batman and Joker. Arkham Asylum itself is wonderfully designed, dripping with atmosphere and packed with secrets for hardcore Bat fans. You can beat the main story alone in just 12 hours, leaving you plenty of time to answer the call of the Bat Signal again for the completion of side quests and collectibles. The game really nails the feeling of being Batman. Each villain encounter feels unique and memorable, with boss fights that'll test both your combat skills and your problem-solving abilities. The Riddler challenges add an extra layer of depth, encouraging exploration and rewarding your inner completionist. And let's not forget the unlockable character bios and patient interviews. They're a goldmine for Batman lore enthusiasts. Next up is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You play as Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66, now on a quest to rebuild the Jedi Order. The story hits all the right Star Wars beats. Epic lightsaber duels, force powers, and a ragtag group of lovable misfits. What really stands out is how it blends Souls-like combat with Metroidvania exploration. The lightsaber combat feels weighty and impactful, and unlocking new force powers opens up new areas to explore. The planets you visit are diverse and packed with secrets, from the lush forests of Kashyyyk to the deadly wilds of Dathomir. And let's not forget BD-1, your droid companion who's somehow more lovable than BB-8. The narrative tackles themes of trauma and redemption, giving depth to Cal's journey. You're looking at about 15 hours to finish this one, but trust me, you'll be itching to dive back in for more Jedi action. The game's difficulty is perfectly balanced, offering a challenge without feeling unfair. Each new force power you unlock feels significant, changing how you approach both combat and exploration. The customization options for your lightsaber and outfit are a nice touch, letting you put your personal stamp on Cal. The game's attention to Star Wars lore is impressive, with countless references and Easter eggs for fans to discover. Next up, we have The Order 1886. This game might be short, but holy cow, is it a visual feast. The game catches a lot of flack for its length, but at about 7 hours to complete, it's perfect for a one-day playthrough. Set in an alternate history, Victorian London, you play as Sir Galahad, a knight of the Round Table fighting against half-breed monsters. The story's a bit of a slow burn, but it's packed with tension and political intrigue. What really sets this apart is the absolutely stunning graphics. It's like playing through a cinematic blockbuster. The attention to detail is insane, from the intricate weapons to the fog-filled streets of London. Gameplay-wise, it's a cover-based shooter with some interesting weapons like the arc gun and thermite rifle. Sure, it's linear, but that allows for some incredibly well-crafted set pieces. The character models and animations are some of the best you'll see. While the gameplay might not break new ground, it's solid and satisfying. The QTE sequences, often a point of contention in games, are actually well integrated and add to the cinematic feel. If you haven't played this game yet, you should definitely try it. Next on the list, we have Trine 2. This side-scrolling platformer puts you in control of 3 heroes: a wizard, a thief, and a knight, each with unique abilities that you'll need to combine to progress. The story's light and whimsical, but it's the gorgeous fairy tale-like visuals that'll really suck you in. Every level is a work of art, bursting with color and fantastical details. The puzzle design is top-notch, offering just enough challenge to make you feel clever without ever becoming frustrating. The best part that I like about Trine 2 is how you can play it solo, or with up to 2 friends in co-op mode. The physics-based gameplay leads to some hilarious moments, especially when you're trying to coordinate with buddies. The soundtrack is an absolute delight. perfectly complementing the whimsical atmosphere, and each character feels distinct and useful, and swapping between them on the fly adds a nice layer of strategy to both combat and puzzles. The environmental hazards and enemies are varied enough to keep you on your toes throughout the journey. Now, if you're planning to give this game a shot, then prepare to spend around 8 to 10 hours to complete the main story. Next up is the frustrating yet beautiful masterpiece, Cuphead. This run-and-gun platformer is a love letter to 1930s cartoons, and boy does it nail that aesthetic. The hand-drawn animations are jaw-dropping, making every frame look like it belongs in a museum. But don't let the cute visuals fool you. This game is tough as nails. I mean, it's really tough. But when focusing on the main objectives, Cuphead can be completed in around 8 to 11 hours. Of course, this will depend on your skills. The boss fights in this game are the stars, each one a multi-stage spectacle that'll test your reflexes and pattern recognition skills. The tight controls and varied weapons give you the tools you need to succeed, but it's up to you to master them. The run-and-gun levels offer a nice change of pace from the boss battles, with their own unique challenges and secrets. And can we talk about those parry moves? They add an extra layer of risk-reward that keeps the gameplay feeling fresh and exciting. As I mentioned earlier, Cuphead is a hard game, but if you manage to learn the rhythm, I believe you'll surely enjoy and appreciate this game. And speaking of rhythm, Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere and absolutely knocked our socks off. This rhythm action game puts you in the shoes of Chai, a wannabe rock star with a music player for a heart, fighting against an evil tech corporation. The game's cel-shaded art style is gorgeous, popping with color and energy. But what really sets it apart is how it integrates rhythm into every aspect of the gameplay. Everything in the world moves to the beat, and timing your attacks to the music makes you more powerful. The combat starts simple, but gradually layers in complexity, turning into a symphony of ass-kicking by the end. The story is lighthearted and funny, with a cast of lovable characters that'll have you grinning throughout. The boss battles are a particular highlight, each one feeling like an epic music video come to life. The way the game teaches you its mechanics is brilliant, gradually ramping up the complexity without ever feeling overwhelming. The game's humor lands more often than not, with plenty of fourth wall breaking jokes and pop culture references. Now, if this game is your beat, then expect to spend around 10 to 12 hours to complete the main story. This is also another game that I highly recommend. Next up, we have Journey. Journey is a game that defies easy description, but trust me, it's an experience you won't forget. You play as a robed figure in a vast desert drawn towards a distant mountain. That's it. No dialogue, no complex mechanics, just you and the sand. But man, what a journey it is. The visuals are stunning, with sand that flows like water and ruins that hint at a lost civilization. The soundtrack, reactive to your actions, is hauntingly beautiful. What really sets Journey apart is its unique multiplayer. You might encounter another player, but you can only communicate through musical chimes. It creates these beautiful wordless connections that feel profoundly moving. The way the game conveys story and emotion without a single word of dialogue is masterful. Each new area you discover feels like a revelation, from sun-drenched dunes to dark, foreboding caverns. The mechanics are simple but satisfying, with your scarf growing longer as you progress, letting you soar higher and higher. Journey is a relatively short game, around 2 to 3 hours to complete, and for completionists, 5 hours is already enough to totally beat the game. Next on the list is another indie game called A Hat in Time. Unlike the previous game, A Hat in Time is a little bit longer as you need to spend around 10 hours to beat the main story. You play as Hat Kid, an adorable alien trying to collect timepieces to fuel her spaceship. The game oozes charm from every pore, with colorful worlds, quirky characters, and a sense of humor that'll have you grinning throughout. The platforming is tight and satisfying, with Hat Kid's various abilities keeping things fresh as you explore. Each world feels distinct, from a spooky forest to a movie studio run by birds. The attention to detail is amazing, with tons of little secrets and references for keen-eyed players. The boss battles are creative and challenging, each one feeling like a mini-game in itself. The soundtrack is an absolute banger, perfectly capturing the whimsical spirit of the game. And let's not forget the hats. Each one gives you a new ability, and collecting them all is addictively fun. The game's mod support on PC adds even more replayability with fan-made levels and characters. A Hat in Time is just a great platformer that everyone should definitely try. Up next is Firewatch, a narrative-driven experience that'll stick with you long after the credits roll. You play as Henry, a fire lookout in the Wyoming wilderness, with your only connection to the outside world being your supervisor Delilah over a handheld radio. What starts as a quiet job quickly turns into a mystery that'll have you questioning everything. The art style is gorgeous, with a stylized take on nature that makes every vista screenshot-worthy. The voice acting is also commendable, bringing Henry and Delilah's relationship to life in a way that feels genuine and touching. The gameplay is mostly exploration and dialogue choices, but it never feels boring, thanks to the gripping narrative. The way the game builds tension is masterful, using the isolation of the wilderness to create a sense of unease. The radio conversations with Delilah feel natural and reactive to your choices, making the relationship feel real. The environmental storytelling is on point, with little details in the world hinting at larger mysteries. And speaking of storytelling, well, Firewatch only takes around 4 to 5 hours to beat the story. Next up is Hitman Absolution. Hitman Absolution takes our favorite bald assassin, Agent 47, and throws him into a more linear, story-driven adventure. You're looking at about 10 to 12 hours for the main story, but you'll want to replay levels to try different approaches. The plot is pure B-movie schlock, but in the best way possible, full of betrayals, over-the-top villains, and ridiculous set pieces. The gameplay shines the most in this game. Each level is a sandbox of assassination possibilities. You can go in guns blazing, set up elaborate accidents, or use disguises to get close to your target. The attention to detail is insane, with NPCs reacting believably to your actions and tons of environmental storytelling. The contracts mode adds extra replayability, letting you create and share custom assassination challenges. The disguise system is particularly fun too, as it let you assume the identities of various characters with unique abilities. The crowd technology is also worth mentioning, with bustling public areas that feel alive and reactive. The game's checkpoint system can be a bit unforgiving, but it adds to the tension of planning and executing the perfect hit. If you enjoy stealth games and think that you can beat this game, then you should definitely give Hitman Absolution a try. Next on the list is the creepy, atmospheric puzzle platformer Little Nightmares series. This is also a short game. I was able to beat the first game in around 4 hours, while the prequel, Little Nightmares 2, took around 6 hours for me to complete. The game's visual style is like a twisted Tim Burton film, with oversized, distorted environments that make you feel constantly vulnerable. The puzzles are clever without being frustrating, often playing with scale in interesting ways. There's little to no combat. Instead, you'll need to use stealth and quick thinking to avoid the nightmarish residents of the Maw. The sound design is phenomenal, creating an unsettling atmosphere that'll have you on edge throughout. The way the game builds tension is masterful, using darkness and sound to create moments of pure dread. The character designs are unforgettable, each monster more disturbing than the last. The environmental storytelling is top-notch, hinting at a larger, darker world beyond what we see. And that ending? It's a gut punch that'll leave you reeling. If you haven't played this game yet, then I suggest that you start doing so, since Little Nightmares 3 is already on its way. Last but not least, we've got Mafia Definitive Edition. You're looking at about 10 to 18 hours to finish the main story, making it a perfect weekend binge. You play as Tommy Angelo, a taxi driver turned mobster in the fictional city of Lost Heaven during the 1930s. The narrative is gripping, full of twists, turns, and moral dilemmas that'll keep you hooked from start to finish. Gameplay-wise, it's a mix of driving, shooting, and stealth, all wrapped up in a beautifully realized open world. The gunplay feels weighty and impactful, and the car chases are pure adrenaline. The voice acting is also commendable, bringing the colorful cast of characters to life, especially during cutscenes. The city of Lost Heaven feels alive and bustling, with plenty of side activities to distract you from the main plot. The way the game tackles themes of loyalty, family, and the cost of the American dream is surprisingly nuanced. While I can't deny that there are some part of the Mafia games to be out of place, I personally find all of them appealing. That being said, I wholeheartedly recommend this franchise to everyone. And there you have it, folks. 15 amazing linear games you can complete in just one day. If you enjoyed this rundown, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more gaming content. And hey, let us know in the comments which of these games you'll be tackling first.